Hi everyone and welcome back to On the Road with Iona. Today we are doing a video about this little bad boy, Hack Motion. This is a training device that is used on tour and by amateurs, and I've been sent it to give it a go for myself. Now, what Hack Motion does is measures the movement of your wrists in the golf swing. And obviously, if you've been watching this channel for a little while now, you know I've had my own history with wrist injuries. And in fact, when we went to California to the Titleist Performance Institute, we discovered that wrist injuries are the #1 reason people have to stop playing golf. The second is the neck, but the #1 is the wrist. So it's really, really useful and probably a good idea to pay attention to how your wrists are performing in the golf swing to make sure that you don't have to deal with a wrist injury in your career. If you already do have a bit of a wrist injury, or it's maybe something that you've got your own history with, then I hope this video will be really helpful for you too. But today we're going to use the Hack Motion, which you can see comes in this lovely box, and I'm going to explain how it works. So as you can see, I've taken the Hack Motion out of the box and it's got these two straps. Now, the good thing about this Hack Motion device is you can use it on both your lead wrist, which for a right-handed golfer is your left wrist, and your trail wrist, which for the right-handed golfer is your right wrist. And the right wrist is where I've had a lot of my problems. I've got arthritis in my wrist and I have to manage it very carefully to make sure I don't keep the wrist in extension too much. That's why I wear tape on the back of my wrists, kind of hold it in this position and make sure it doesn't hyperextend. So you just slot this over your wrist like this, and there's a nice strap on here that fits all wrists of all sizes. I've got tiny little wrists, so it even fits me, which is great. And then I'm going to put it over my right hand like that. It's really simple. And then I'm going to switch it on. Little blue light comes on, and the beautiful thing is it all connects to your phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the app on my phone, and I'm going to click on my profile, and today I'm going to select free practice. I want to hit some shots and see what it's going to tell me to start with. I'm going to go to full swing, and I'm going to select my trail wrist. I'm right-handed, continue, and then it's asking me if I want to select a benchmark, and I'm going to select a benchmark from a PGA Tour player data because they're obviously swinging the club as efficiently as you can, and I'm going to make sure that I'm kind of in the right spot. So trail wrist, European Tour, 7-iron, perfect. Select, continue. Now I'm going to calibrate the sensor, which doesn't take very long at all. I'm just going to hold my wrist in this position. Now I'm going to hold my wrist in this position, and there's this avatar that incredibly picks up my wrist just super quickly. Obviously the cable in the back is picking up where things are moving, and just like that, within 5 minutes I can start practicing. So I'm just going to let the app know that I'm hitting a 7-iron, assigned club. So I'm just going to hit my normal 7-iron without thinking about anything right now. Not going to have any swing thoughts. Even got my practice swing. So that little sound, the little ding, tells me that it's picked up the data. So it's recording every swing that I hit, and then it's going to tell me about the data. One more. Now when you're hitting these shots, there is a section in the app that allows you to tag whether you call it a bit thin or a bit fat, so you can actually give the app more information about each shot. So it's giving me a lot of information about what my trail wrist is doing. It's telling me about the flexion and the extension. Flexion when your wrist is moving forward, and extension when it's in that position, which you can see because I have arthritis, it's kind of locked. I don't have a lot of extension, and that's the danger zone for me. It's also talking about ulnar and radial deviation, which is the side to side movement. You have to be quite careful and make sure you're moving it in a healthy way in your wrist there also, because you can get strains down the sides of your wrists. And it's also talking about the rotation. And then the timing. So let's dive into this a little bit more. So The hack motion gives you information about your wrist in 3 different points of your golf swing. First of all, at address, secondly at the top of your backswing, and then thirdly at impact. And these are 3 really key markers for what's happening. And at the moment, it's telling me that I'm too flexed in all 3 of these positions. In my ulnar radial deviation section, it's saying at address I'm too radial, so my wrist is too far to the right. And then it's too ulnar and it's too radial. So I'm not doing very well there. And then the rotation, I'm not going to worry about that for now, but there's also information there for me. The thing I'm really going to focus on is the flexion and extension throughout the golf swing. Now, it's not really surprising to me that it's saying too flexed. And honestly, if I'm seeing the reading saying too flexed, that's actually okay for me, because it's extension that causes me pain. And I've had to make real adaptations and restrictions to my golf swing to make sure that I don't swing with too much extension, because that would knock me out of golf forever. So I just have to accept my limitations. And this should be something that's really helpful for me to work on with a coach and say, look, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm understanding, are you okay with this? And what advice would you have to give me about the way my wrist is performing? So the fact that it's telling me I'm in too flexed a position at the moment is kind of good news. If it had told me that I was too extended, then I'd have big problems. So let's take the address, for example. My wrist is 15 degrees flexed at address, and the benchmark on tour is 10 degrees. So I'm 5 degrees over flexed, which I would say is pretty okay. I've also had to switch to a baseball grip, and that potentially had an impact on how I set up to the ball. At the top of my golf swing, it's really close. The benchmark is 51 degrees and my number is 49. So I'm really close to the benchmark. So again, it sounds pretty good to me. And then at impact, it's not looking very good. The benchmark is 32 degrees and I'm 4 degrees. So I'm 36 degrees too flexed. So my wrist is too flexed in that direction, which is really so normal for me, because I've had to get away from a traditional position where there'd be extension in the wrist, and I've had to move to a more neutral setup. But I think I've probably gone a bit too far, and I can use Hack Motion, this device, to actually work and understand what limit can I take this to that's more towards the benchmark of 32 degrees without experiencing pain. So that's why this device could be so helpful for somebody like me dealing with injury, but also just generally if you're looking to improve your performance, because how your wrist delivers the club with the left and the right wrist affects the strike of the ball. We all know that with the irons, we're trying to hit down on the ball, and therefore you need to have your wrist in a slightly extended position in the back of the trail wrist, because that's meaning you've got a bit of shaft lean and you're coming into the ball probably like 4 degrees down. Slightly different for the delivery of a driver, but we can get to that another time. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the sensor onto my left wrist. Now I would say that 90% of golfers pay attention more to what's happening with the lead wrist, because actually the majority of injuries come on the lead wrist because it's the one that's taking a lot of the hit. So let's put the sensor onto my left wrist and see what we learn. What I'm going to do is a drill. So within the app there are lots of drills that you can use. By the way, it's absolutely cooking here because we're in Dubai and it's midday, so it must be 35 degrees Celsius, so it's very hot. I'm going to have a look at some of the drills they've got available, and they've got a drill here called the motorcycle drill, and it sounds really fun. It's asking me to swing to the top of my backswing, feel the correct flexion amount, keep flexing until you're just about to deliver the club, and then finish the swing. So it's a really feely kind of drill. So the brilliant thing about it being on the app is you can just put it in front of you when you're working on something. And it's asking me to take my address position. Now it's asking me to go to the top of the swing. and it's immediately giving me feedback. So when my wrist is in a healthy position on the left-hand side, I hear that noise. And when I'm out of the healthy position, the noise goes away. Let me try again. So this is me at address. I hit it immediately. Okay, let's try again. Okay, it's asking me to address it. So now it's asking me to go to this position, which they're calling position 6, but this is just before delivery when the shaft is parallel with the ground. It's asking me to flex it. So that's the position it wants me in there. And then finish the swing. So that's the drill. Address to the top to position 6, and then you get to swing through. And it's giving me this instant audible feedback so I can play around. And bearing in mind, I set a benchmark here of DP World Tour player with a 7-iron. So I've got my 7-iron here. Let's do it again. Oh, it's really tough to find. There it is. Okay, that's one rep. So it really is working me hard. So now I'm going to go into the app and I'm going to end the practice session. It's going to give me a summary of what's going on. But there are so many other drills that you can use. Static release drills, dynamic release drill, dynamic transition drill. So depending on what you're looking for, and if you're a player that likes to have, you know, something that you can work with and a bit of motivation and a bit of immediate feedback, then this bit of technology and AI could be really, really helpful. You've got diagnostics, you've got free practice, you've got drills, and you've got tour data, so where you can learn. And if I click on tour data, you can see some of the swings. Torbjorn Olesen, wonderful swinger of the golf club. Lucas Bjerregaard, Nicholas Kolsarts, I was working with him for the DP World Tour a couple of weeks ago. Andrew Beef Johnson, everyone loves a bit of beef. So you can go in and you can actually have a look at their wrist patterns. He's had some issues in his thumb, some injury in his thumb, so he's probably also paying close attention to what's happening with his hands and his wrists. What I'm going to do now is I've got the sensor on my left wrist, and I'm actually just going to do the analysis section of the app. So just checking that it's still calibrated, it looks really good. If you're ever in doubt about the readings, you can just quickly recalibrate it, no problem. So this is what they call the full swing diagnostics. And I'm just going to hit some shots and see what it tells me. I've got an idea what it might tell me, but I'm interested to see. So I've got my 7-iron and I'm just going to hit some normal shots. Ah, that was kind of good. So it's saying at address, I'm too flexed. At the top, I'm slightly too extended. And at impact, I'm in range. So that's good news, because impact is probably the most important. So at address, I was too flexed. So too flexed. It wants me to be a bit more like that. And then at the top, it wants me to be a little bit more flexed, and then just keep doing what I'm doing at impact. Let's see. Impact was good again. So this is my diagnostics. Main issue, too much extension at the top. Ah, interesting. So it's wanting my left wrist to be a little bit more bowed which I actually think is pretty sound advice, to be honest. So after I've done my diagnostics, it's offering me a training program. So it's analysing the way I'm swinging the golf club, and then it's giving me some information about that, and then it's offering me a solution. Go to training program. Level 1, static basic. Stand still at the address. Go to the top. Move your wrist into the green zone. Let's give it a go. So you don't need a ball for this one. You're just getting into as though you were going to hit the 7-iron, and you're just going to try and hit these positions it's asking, and let's see what it says. So set up at address. Wow. So that's 1 rep done, and you can hear that noise it's making is telling me immediately that I'm in a good position. Now, of course, it gave me some clues. I knew that I was trying to get my left wrist a little bit more bowed, but let me show you what happens if you don't do it right. So it's now asking me to get in range, and it's giving me a green light when I get it in that position and hold it in that position. Let's go again. 3. This is absolutely incredible. This is really, really cool. I love the fact as well, given we're about to fly back to the snow, you could do this inside, don't need to hit any shots. I think it was Tiger Woods said that 70% of his practice he used to do without a golf ball. When you hold it there for the correct amount of time, it gives you that da-ding. There we go. I hope this has been really helpful for you to understand a little bit more about what Hack Motion is to start with, and how it works with your phone and the app, and the way technology can help us now to improve and, most importantly, prevent and manage injury in the golf swing. Of course, many people use Hack Motion to develop clubhead speed, to improve their strike pattern with every aspect of the game. And actually in Hack Motion, you can do putting as well. So there are options that you can learn more about putting, and of course the way our wrists behave when we're putting affects the putter face a lot and how you deliver the putter. So maybe we'll look at that next time. You can also do it on the lead and the trail wrist, which for me is particularly helpful. But in the meantime, thank you to Hack Motion for sending this to me. I'm definitely going to take it along to do some work with my coach, and also into TPI when I do the follow-up session there. I'm going to take it along and see what Dr. Greg Rose has got to say about it. And in the meantime, let us know what other training devices you'd like us to bring onto the channel and explore a little bit more, so that we can all learn and benefit from them. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. See you next time.